Hello, welcome to this online session, which is aimed at staff who might like to know a bit more about Careerpilot. So this is an online session that I'll talk for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to give you a login to Careerpilot so you can have a play. So what I want to show you how Careerpilot can actually make careers easy, or certainly easier, and how the website has got a lot of information in there that you can refer students to as part of your role. So the web address is careerpilot.org.uk. So Careerpilot is a completely free to use site in the south of England. You can see on our map there what geographical area we cover. And the reason it's free is because it's supported by 20 universities and 6 NCOP projects. So my name is Sue Lewis and I work at the University of Bath and I manage the Careerpilot team. So what I'm going to do through this session is give you a chance to get an idea of why careers is important, and then I'm going to show you what Careerpilot offers and how it's quite easy to use, and then hopefully you'll be getting an idea of how you might use it in your role in the school, whether you're a subject teacher, a tutor, or whether you work in the PSHE team. And at the end I'm going to give you a login so you can have a chance to use Careerpilot and have a little play as a student. So Careerpilot is quite a big suite of web tools. We have a student zone, a reporting zone where you can see the choices young people are making, an advisor zone which has got lots of lesson plans and materials, and then also a parent zone as well. So if a school is using all those things, then that helps to put a stable careers program together, which is one of the requirements of the Gatsby benchmarks, which I'll mention in a minute. We're on an award-winning website. In 2018 won the Career Development Institute's award for being a good quality careers and employability website. We are really keen to actually help students understand how they can manage their own careers, because I'm sure, especially in this very tricky COVID time when we're not quite sure what's happening with jobs, employment for the future, students are going to need to be the managers of their own careers. And even before the COVID virus, we knew the students might have multiple jobs. So it's really important they know how they can port their skills from one career to another. To help them with that, we've put a 3-minute animated video together that just shows them the key things that they could be doing to manage their own career. So if you've got time, you can have a little look at that. There's the address. So what the video does is show them 4 things really: that they can know themselves, their skills, their abilities, their interests, their values, do stuff to build their CV and their skills, know all their options in some detail, not just I'm going to college, but know the courses and what they might help you with, and then use your supporters, which are teachers and careers advisors and parents and other people who might be able to help you on your journey. So in terms of that 4-stage model, from a staff point of view, it's great if you can kind of promote that message to students so we're all saying the same thing about the things they can be doing. Also, as a staff member, you could be signposting students to Careerpilot. So if they've got a particular query about careers, you could actually tell them where they can get the information. Alternatively, you might want to use it in a bit more of an in-depth way, and I can show you as we go through how you can use that if you're a subject teacher, for example. Another reason for being engaged with careers as a staff member across the school is there's evidence to show that good careers information actually supports young people and motivates them to do well and can increase their grades as well. So this is a result of some research done with some year 11 students. Some were given careers intervention before GCSEs and some weren't, and the ones that had that intervention were more motivated and had a particular impact on the low achievers and the less engaged. So these are, good things for staff to understand, because that's exactly what you're trying to do, is get students to improve their grades, be more motivated to put the work in for their GCSEs and their A-levels. You will have heard already probably about the Gatsby benchmarks. For some time we've had these 8 benchmarks of what are in place in a good careers program. So all schools are working to try to set these things up within their school environment. I mentioned a stable careers program, and I'll mention some of the other things as we go through. Each year, schools assess themselves against those benchmarks using something called the Compass evaluation tool. So maybe twice or 3 times in a year, a school will assess themselves to see how they're doing, and that can be then compared with local and national data. So as a school, you can see where you are in respect to those 8 Gatsby benchmarks. So this is the Careerpilot homepage. On the homepage, which I'm going to show you in a bit of detail, I've got lots of information. But if students sign in or register to start with here, then they access all our career tools. The career tools is where they can build their own profile. So as they're looking at information or jobs, they can actually tag the ones they're interested in, and they'll be added to their career tools, and that will create a report. And this is the bit too that populates the reporting zone. So the students are tagging things of interest. You can see those through the reporting zone. Also on the homepage, you can see the advisor zone and the parent zone. So everything can be accessed from this one place. Some of the highlights of Careerpilot, we have what we call our well-used tools. These are things like search for jobs. There's over 800 job profiles. Search for courses or apprenticeship vacancies. Search for providers. There's a qualification planner, and they can also look at over 1,000 video stories. They link to different aspects of the site about qualifications, about jobs. But also this mirrors the video idea in a simplified form, a suggested process the students could keep coming back to. Start with you, explore your options, plan your next steps, and all our tools are structured under those 3 stages. We've also got to start with the qualification, so students might already know they're interested in an apprenticeship, for example, so they can go straight in here and get advice and support about that pathway with links onto other websites where they might get other information. So just to show you some of those things, start with you. We've got particular activities for different ages, quizzes, start with a subject, the skills map, we have one for pre and post 16, and a qualification planner. So I'm just going to show you some of those things. So for tutors or PSHE staff who might be delivering Careerpilot to a student in an IT space, for example, then we've got particular activities that could be done with those students that match with the decisions they have to make at that particular time. So year 9 might be option, year 10 might be work experience, year 11 would be choosing post 16. So the students are encouraged to click on any of those. They get sort of 5 or 6 suggested activities that fit with the things they have to think about. And then our advisor zone, we've got introductory presentations for each of these year group activities. So here you'll find a presentation based on having about an hour in an IT room, a little introductory activity, then getting started so they can use these things on the site and then do a little plenary. We've also got job sector quiz. This is really useful for students who haven't got a clue what they want to do, or just to confirm sometimes what they do want to do. So it's 50 pictures of things they might like to do in a work situation. And then it shows them what sectors they could go on to explore. So it doesn't show them particular jobs, but it shows them the sectors that seem to be offering the things that they're particularly interested in. And within those sectors, they'll get loads of jobs. So just really expand their horizons about the range of things that they could do. There's also the skills map. We've got a pre and a post 16 version. So what we're trying to do here is help students recognise they've already developed a lot of skills through the things they've done. So we ask them what they have done, their life, their learning. If they're post 16, it might be some things about work as well. So it might be a question like, I've committed to an out-of-school sport or activity for more than a year, which lots of young people will have done. And then whatever they click on, it tells them what skills they probably have used already by doing that particular activity. So here, if they've had that out of school activity, then they might use physical skills, resilience, or teamwork. And all those skills are banked in what we call our skills bank. And the idea is they keep adding to their skills bank. They can add any example of things they might have done in their own time. So for example, I've been working with my dad doing wedding photography. What skills is it giving you? And then those skills will be added to the skills bank alongside the examples generated from the quiz. And they keep building these up as they go through school. And that fits with some of the requirements of Gatsby. So if they've had an encounter with an employer or work experience, or they've had an encounter with FE or HE, they could go and record that in Careerpilot. So when they come to apply in the skills map, they can click on courses and jobs, and they'll see, they can put in what they're applying for and actually say what skills they think they most need to flag up and then they'll be able to see all their examples. So this is used a lot with year 12s as a beginning of that journey to writing a personal statement. There's also start with a subject, and that fits the Gatsby benchmark about linking curriculum to careers. So if you're a subject teacher, students obviously can use this independently, but once a term, you might want to just look at your particular subject with your students and show them how it relates to life outside school. So you could click on your subject, computing in this example, and then you can see example jobs. You can look at the different jobs and the salaries and where they're predicted to grow, examples of degrees, apprenticeships, college courses, and also examples of online courses offered free by universities that can just extend somebody's knowledge of that particular subject. So in the second section of Careerpilot, explore your options. You can see here you can explore your options by age. So if you clicked on choices 16, students can see what the options are and look in detail at each of those things. They can search for jobs, courses, apprenticeship vacancies, providers, view all our stories, and also look at our qualification planner. I'm just going to show you some of these things. So the job sectors, this is a very popular part of the site and fits with our Gatsby benchmark number 2, which is about actually showing information about careers and how it links to the labour market. So they could put in a job, or they could click on a sector, and they could drill down to an actual job profile. So we've got over 850 in the site. So in the profile, they find out what's involved in that job, entry requirements, and if they scroll on down, they get video stories about that job, and the pink bit shows the skills required for the job and then their skills from the skills map alongside that. So they begin to see how they match up, and they could at this point add their own examples to the skills map here. The job profile also includes labour market information. Is that job going to grow or decline? Where are the jobs by region? These are kind of useful things for students to know. It's not just about the jobs, how many of them are going to be. Is this a job that's going to be there in 10 years' time? And where will those jobs be in the country? We also have our course search, so you can search by 16 to 19 courses, degree or apprenticeship vacancies. I'm going to show you a degree. So you can put the name of a degree, or there's a little drop down if they want to get ideas about different subject areas. Put in a postcode, how far they're prepared to travel, and then they get a short list, including maybe the UCAS point range that course has accepted on before. They can then see details about that particular course, employment after the course, or student satisfaction. So they could look at a range of courses and get an idea about the ones that seem particularly appealing to them. There'll be a direct link into that course as well if they want to look in more detail. And you can see the little cross there that says add this to my courses. So this is where, as they're going through the site, they may add their jobs, their courses, providers into the career tools space, and that creates their personal report. So the third section, plan your next steps. So this is where they've got a whole report of information. They've got this skills map, and we've also got a little action planner. So just after they've used Careerpilot, they could be thinking of 2 or 3 actions they're now going to take in order to help them move on towards their next career goal. I mentioned the report quite a few times. In terms of Gatsby, one requirement is to meet the individual needs of students. So if you know what they're interested in, you can help them to get to where they personally want to go. It also helps in terms of personal guidance. So if you're going to offer careers guidance in your school and the students have done Careerpilot previously, then the advisor has a lot of information to help start that conversation. So the report is here, and it can be quite detailed, have their qualifications on, job sectors, providers, anything they bookmarked. You can also add advisor comments from the reporting zone. So an advisor or tutor could be adding something which would appear there for the students to see, as well as any other teacher who's got access to their student's record. The report moves up every year. A snapshot is saved every year, so they can have multiple reports as they move through school. And the Careerpilot account can port to another provider. So if they move to a college, they can choose to take their Careerpilot account into the college environment. So the advisor zone I mentioned, so we've got lots of lesson plans and materials here. We've got lesson plans by different key stages. We've also got some some resources aimed at subject teachers to help with our Gatsby 4 by linking curriculum to careers, and lots of free things on the Advisor Zone. So the subject-specific activities I mentioned, they take about 20 minutes to do. We've done 23 for Key Stage 4 subjects. You can see the top one's chemistry. And what we've done is matched the resource to a particular aspect of the curriculum that that subject teacher is delivering anyway. So it's say AQA 4.10. So that's actually linking what you're doing already, so that this is about just enhancing it slightly to show how that particular topic could relate to life outside school. So what you'll find then are links to useful resources like TED Talks or videos or other resources that might be out there. So one lesson, when you're doing that topic, for 20 minutes you could actually use some of these resources and link your subject to careers. We also have in the Advisor Zone, these are all free, so if you go to the Advisor Zone you can request them. We have 5-week PSHE programs that have 5 one-hour sessions. Some are classroom based, some are IT based, using Careerpilot as a tool, but lots of resources that can be done in the classroom as well. And the little pink ones are 20-minute activities that can be done in a tutor time. So they're all careers related. We've got Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. The reporting zone is where you can actually see the choices young people are making. So if your school have completed day trend agreement, they'll have access to training school. So to the reporting zone. Yours will be called whatever your school is called. And in here you can see any users that put themselves in your school when they're registered. They'll be in a year group because we've asked them that registration, but you can subdivide them to tutor groups or PSHE groups. And you can also see reports then by group or by individual. Just a few examples here. So group report, if you set them an activity to do on Careerpilot, in the tasks completed report, you'll be able to see where they've done those things. And you'll be able to click on their reports to see what what things they've tagged. You can also look at a report, for example, for the whole year 12 to find out what job sectors they're interested in. And there's lots of other reports in there as well. You can also look at reports by individuals. You can see an individual student and add particular comments to their record. We get lots of positive comments about Careerpilot from students. They do love having this resource that they can look at independently, but also with you perhaps as well. But it's just having all that information in one place. They really appreciate that. And they love having their own account, being able to bookmark and having things they can get back to. And housekeeping every year, because things will change for them. They might have said they want to be a footballer in year 7. Maybe by year 9 that's changed. So that's the idea. They can keep changing and adapting as they move through. So hopefully you can see the Careerpilot has a lot to offer to students, and hopefully you can see how you could actually be signposting students to it or use it as part of your role. But you might like to have a play on it now so you can see all that information in a bit more detail, because really I've just given you the headlines. So what I'm going to show you is how you can get online using a sample login, which is quite easy to set up. So you go to careerpilot.org.uk, just like a student, and register as a student. But when it comes to putting your email in, don't use your actual live email, put your first name and surname and then @normail.com. So I would be suelewis@normail.com. You're then in as a student that you're not going to affect any live data. Don't put yourself in your own school. Put yourself in training school. If you just start typing it in, it'll pop up. So you'll be a sample student in the training school. There'll be loads of other teachers who've been trying it out too. So you're amongst all sorts of people who've been having a play with the site. So you're not going to affect any live data. If you've got a question, a query, or like some about training, on the Advisor Zone we show all our other training that we offer. Then you can look on the Advisor Zone, but also look on the Careerpilot and make a request to the Careerpilot helpline. That is there 9 till 3 in term time. Currently we're just operating an email service rather than a phone service, but there are people on hand to help if you've got any particular queries about Careerpilot or any of the resources that I've mentioned. Now we'd love to know whether this It's a very short session that has been useful to you. We'd like to know, if this format is a kind of quick way to get a lot of information across, and ultimately we'd like to know if Careerpilot is useful. So we've put together a very short survey. It is literally just 2 minutes, and the address is there. It'd be great if you wouldn't mind just filling in that survey, and we'd know a little bit of feedback quite quickly about this format and how it works. So I just want to say thank you for your time, and hope you have you enjoy your time playing on Careerpilot.